The Daniels' Everything Everywhere All at Once is a special breed of movie. There's nothing else quite like it. There are other films that capture parts of what make it so great, but none that balance as many different plates so effectively. It's a true masterpiece. The scope is epic, but the story is intimate, using a bonkers interdimensional adventure to convey a life-affirming message about love and family. The plot jumps all over the place, and all over the space-time continuum, but the directors never lose track of the resonant themes and emotional through lines. Since the whole thing plays like a cinematic magic trick, it's difficult to describe. It has to be seen to be believed. Not only is Everything Everywhere All at Once captivating from beginning to end, it's also wholly original. And if today's audience is starved of one thing, it's originality. It's extremely rare that a movie comes along with this much imagination. Fresh ideas are few and far between in the modern film-going landscape, but Everything Everywhere All at Once is jam-packed with them, with elements of science fiction, comedy, fantasy, martial arts action, and a couple of different styles of animation. This is one of the most ambitious genre cocktails ever attempted. The Daniels' multiversal madness makes Quentin Tarantino's genre-bending antics look tame by comparison. This is a movie whose emotional storytelling could go toe-to-toe with any Best Picture winner. But unlike any Best Picture winner, or any movie for that matter, it also features a fanny pack beating, a parody of Ratatouille, and a universe where humans have evolved to have floppy hot dog fingers. The Daniels commit to being as unpredictable and out there as possible from the opening frame to the end credits. Nothing is too crazy to be in this movie. Jamie Lee Curtis playing the piano with her toes is actually one of the less unusual things that happens. The filmmaking duo manages to walk a tricky tonal tightrope between two different movies. A tragic, intimate family drama about a cynical woman seeking to better herself after her usually optimistic husband serves her divorce papers. And a gonzo sci-fi kung fu movie about a superpowered martial artist fighting the possessed henchman of a multiversal overlord created by one of her other selves. Combining these two concepts into one movie shouldn't work as well as it does, but the beauty of the Daniels' direction is that they never let the genre elements overshadow the humanity of the story. Rather than stealing the spotlight from the characters' relationships, the fight choreography, slapstick gags, and impending annihilation of the multiverse are all used to reflect, visualize, and ultimately enhance the emotions. An all-conquering bagel at the center of the universe is introduced as a visually stunning monochromatic MacGuffin, but it ends up symbolizing depression and self-destruction. The everything bagel that the villainous Jobu Tupaki creates at the apex of the multiverse represents more than just a story conflict. It represents the lack of meaning in life and the temptation to resign to a belief in nothing. This ominous cosmic bagel represents the ultimate paradox. No matter how much stuff is on the bagel, it'll never be enough. The fact that Jobu's avatar is the hero's daughter is an ingenious plot device, not only because it gives the hero a compelling reason to save her, it also draws parallels between the nihilism of a multiversal entity who's run out of worlds to conquer and the nihilism of a Generation Z kid with an overbearing mother. Despite exploring nihilism and the valid reasons for it in some depth, Everything Everywhere All at Once doesn't endorse a nihilistic worldview. The movie's message is that nihilism, though increasingly tempting in an increasingly shitty world overpopulated with underintelligent people, isn't the answer. In every iteration of the universe, it's up to individuals to create their own meaning within the life they've been given, even if that life includes hot dog fingers. A huge part of what makes the movie work so well in spite of its many conflicting tones is the phenomenal work of the cast unifying the story with genuine humanity. Seamlessly switching between different variants of themselves, the actors do a terrific job of grounding the speculative sci-fi plot points in a tangible emotional reality.
如果我们没有结婚的话，也许我们会更幸福。
Michelle Yeoh gives possibly the greatest performance of her entire career as Evelyn Kwan Wong, the painfully relatable protagonist who feels unfulfilled in her mundane life as a laundromat owner and longs for a more satisfying existence. With the role of Evelyn, Yeoh has finally been given the chance to show off her full acting range. Evelyn is a flawed dramatic character, a badass action hero, a nuanced romantic lead, and a comedic foil with both dry one-liners and physical gags all rolled into one, and Yeoh breathes authentic life into every single dimension of the character. Stephanie Hsu gives two fantastic performances opposite Yeoh, with a dual role as Joy, Evelyn's estranged daughter, and Jobu Tupaki, a villainous Joy variant intent on destroying the multiverse. As both a nihilistic Gen Zer desperately trying to connect with her mother and the multiversal overlord who takes sadistic pleasure in torturing her, Hsu shares two completely different kinds of equally palpable on-screen chemistry with Yeoh. The legendary James Hong brings both pathos and deadpan hilarity to the role of Evelyn's overbearing father, Go-Go. Jamie Lee Curtis plays a few wildly different versions of her character Deirdre. One is a stuffy IRS auditor investigating Evelyn's taxes, one is a brutal Jobu Tupaki enforcer, one is Evelyn's hot dog fingered lover, and the iconic Scream Queen has a ton of fun chewing the scenery as every single one of them. Former Spielbergian child actor Ke Huy Quan makes an unforgettable comeback as Evelyn's sweet innocent husband Waymond. Like Yeoh, Quan gets to explore the full range of his talents in Everything Everywhere All at Once, nailing both comedic moments as silly as eating chapstick and dramatic moments as tear-jerking as lamenting the life he never got to live with Evelyn. One of the patterns across all universes is that Waymond is an unwavering starry-eyed optimist who always looks for the bright side in things. And Evelyn thinks that's naive, because her outlook is all doom and gloom. In one universe, Waymond explains why he remains optimistic, and admits that it's much more difficult than it seems. He tells Evelyn's martial artist variant that he sees himself as a fighter like her, but his fight is against a cruel world that doesn't always present a bright side. She sees his optimism as a weakness, but he sees it as a strength and a coping mechanism. He doesn't fight with his fists, he fights to stay hopeful and see the positive side of things. That's another important message carried by Everything Everywhere All at Once. Fighting with your fists ultimately won't solve anything. After treating audiences to a glorious battle royale on the office floor of an IRS branch of all places in the first half of the movie, the Daniels subvert the usual expectations of a big final battle in the climactic sequence. Before a relentless dust-up between Evelyn and Jobu Tupaki's multiversal henchmen, Waymond steps in and begs them all to stop fighting. He insists that violence isn't the answer and implores Evelyn to find another way to save their daughter. Evelyn initially brushes off her husband's desperate pleas and prepares to decimate Jobu's goons in mortal combat. But they quickly turn the tables on her, and it becomes clear that this is one problem she can't punch her way out of. Just as Jobu's foot soldiers are about to defeat Evelyn once and for all and she accepts a grim fate, she decides to give Waymond's method a go and fights with love, not hate. She pops one of her husband's googly eyes on her forehead and takes out the henchmen one by one, but not by beating them to a pulp, by verse jumping into their original worlds, fixing all the problems in their lives and making them happier people. When Deirdre refers to herself and Evelyn as cold, unlovable bitches before delivering a death blow, Evelyn kindly assures Deirdre she's not unlovable, but
You're not unlovable!
What are you talking about?
There is always something to love. Even in a stupid, stupid universe where we have hot dogs for fingers, we get very good with our feet.
the ultimate lesson in Everything Everywhere All at Once is that the key to happiness isn't lamenting what isn't there, it's being grateful for what is there. Even in a world where human beings are cursed with dangly, ridiculous hot dog fingers, there's still plenty of beauty because people just get really good with their feet. Deirdre's multiversal self stays true to Evelyn's always something to love claim, as her hot dog finger verse variant learns to play beautiful music on the piano with her extra dexterous toes. People waste huge chunks of their lives fretting about what could have been, but Everything Everywhere All at Once tells us not to regret the road we didn't take. As she becomes a more confident verse jumper, Evelyn starts spending longer and longer embodying her variants. She begins to resent her relatively meager existence made up of laundry and taxes when she realizes her other selves are rich celebrities with fulfilling creative careers. But the movie's advice is not to worry so much about what could have been, just enjoy what is. When Evelyn complains to one of the Waymond variants she didn't marry that in another life all they do is laundry and taxes, he says he'd be happy just doing laundry and taxes with her. As we all should, Evelyn learns to appreciate what she has, a loving husband and a daughter who desperately wants to connect with her. When I fell madly in love with this movie, the first of many times I took myself down to my local theatre to see it, I watched the whole thing from the edge of my seat through eyes full of tears. Tears of joy, tears of laughter, tears of devastation. In today's movie-going market, audiences usually have to choose between big, fun, mindless, blockbuster action movies and gripping, emotionally draining art house dramas. But Everything Everywhere All at Once proves it's possible to have both in the same movie. Filmmakers don't have to sacrifice all the things that make going to the movies fun to make a deep emotional connection with their audience. The Daniels verse-jumping gem is just as fun and hilarious and action-packed as any Marvel movie, and in many cases much more so, and just as poignant and personal and heartbreaking as Moonlight. On top of mind-blowing action sequences and laughs that land on every viewing, Everything Everywhere All at Once is filled to the brim with valuable life lessons. It teaches audiences that nobody is unlovable, that nihilism isn't the way forward, that it isn't always easy to look on the bright side, but that it's always worth the try, and that the meaning of life, in every conceivable reality, is in the eye of the beholder. It's not often that a movie needs to be seen by everybody, but this one is full of so much existential wisdom that it should be required viewing for the entire human race. I don't know if you can tell, but I really liked it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe and click on the little bell. And also seize the day and call your mom and be kind to yourself.